Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for April 22nd, 2023 from Proverbs chapter 15, Proverbs of Wise Words, Part 3, verse 13. A glad heart makes a cheerful face, but by sorrow of heart the spirit is crushed. Well, there are times as Christians we may have a crushed spirit, so to speak. But even during those down times of our lives, even when we are pouring out our laments to God, we are still hanging on to the many promises of God, knowing that He will deliver us. So even in the saddest moments of sorrow, there's still a little bit of joy for us as Christians, knowing that this sorrow is not going to be permanent, that one of these days we will be ushered into paradise, and all our sorrow, all our trials, all our tribulations will be taken away. Until that time, it is okay for us to grieve, to cry out to God in a lament, to pour out our many petitions, as long as we still continue to hang on to the promises that God has given to us, because the gift of faith will lead us to be with Him for eternity. Verse 14, the heart of him who has understanding seeks knowledge, but the mouths of fools feed on folly. The Christian heart should always be wanting to learn more about God's word. Compare and contrast that with the fool who is seeking to be fed even more foolishness. This proverb may seem a bit obvious, but here's the challenge. As Christians, our sinful human nature would rather follow social media and to fill up on all the foolish things of this world instead of opening God's word and studying it. Verse 15, all the days of the afflicted are evil, but the cheerful of heart has a continual feast. Now, this proverb points out that the evil people in today's world will constantly be searching for something, and you could say they will never find it. They're afflicted. They want to sort of satisfy that affliction, but the things of this world will never satisfy them. Whereas the Christian, we are content with the daily bread that God has given to us. And we realize that God is always with us and taking good care of us. Verse 16, better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble with it. So this proverb would remind us as Christians, we would rather have very few physical possessions along with the gift of faith instead of many physical possessions with no gift of faith. Because the gift of faith brings us to paradise, which is much more than all the treasures of the world combined. Verse 17. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a fattened ox and hatred with it. A dinner with herbs may, for most people, not be very satisfying. But if it's shared with good friends, it is much better than having a feast in the midst of a company of evil people. Verse 18, a hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger quiets contention. Again, another proverb about anger. Maybe Solomon knows that we can be angry people at times, trying to teach us to be patient, and trying to teach us to wait for the Lord to deliver us and to take care of the evil. Verse 19. The way of the sluggard is like a hedge of thorns, but the path of the upright is a level highway. A hedge of thorns is very painful and very slow moving. But for the Christian, we keep our eyes focused on Jesus, which helps us to get past the many thorns and pains of this world, so to speak, and to continue to move forward. Whereas the sluggard, representing those who don't believe, they don't care, are taking all the pains of this world and are bearing it, Christ doesn't want us to be bearing the pains of this world, so he dies on the cross to forgive us, to release us from the sin of slavery, so that we can be free and to follow him. God's peace and many blessings be with you, and thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for listening.